Okay, hello there, Patreon former members. Thanks for tuning in. This video will be methodology for setting up your own Convai server and adding your own characters to it, as well as setting up the brains.txt file, which is necessary or certainly helpful in the virtual companion, so that you can get all the personalities connected to the characters in that. And this is going to be the same for VC3 and VC2, which are the only ones I'm going to provide support for. In order to use those in this way, you must have your own Convai account, your own Convai API key, and the ability to create characters. You also will need to request a version of any virtual companion app that is specific for your Convai API key. I will have to embed that key in the app, and once you get the app, you can just sideload it onto your Quest 3 as usual. Alright, so you would go to convai.com, and you'll probably end up at the dashboard here, but just going to convai.com, convai.com, should do it, and you will be asked to create an account. So just have to do that, and as you can see, the plans are varied and get pretty expensive as you go. If you do a lot of talking to your characters, you would probably end up somewhere in this tier, which is $22 US a month on a yearly plan, and about $30 a month US on a monthly plan. However, I recommend you just start out with the free tier, and you should be able to test a character and make sure everything is working using that. And there's absolutely no penalty for starting out in the free tier. The interaction quota is very low. It's 100 a month. If you didn't use the virtual companion that much or didn't speak that much to the characters, 100 a month might do you just fine. There are some other restrictions in terms of all of these other features, but you'd have to just check and see if that works. If that doesn't work and you really want to continue on with the VC, you can just subscribe to one of the higher tiers. So just going back to the playground, so we've created our account here. I've already created one character, but let's go through the character creation procedure. So up here we want to go create a new character, and that'll lead you here, and you want to put in the name of the character. I don't know. Whatever. Put in your name there, and now you can go to this area here, and you can either type in the character's backstory, personality traits, and distinctive features, or you can actually go to ChatGPT and get that to create that for you. So if I'm here in ChatGPT, I can just say, create a character. Now it's done this before for me, so it knows what to do specifically for me. You might have to be more specific when you're doing this. I'll make this a weird thing. Now I'm just going to keep it short for for the purpose of this video, but you can make it as detailed as you want, and then have ChatGPT just fill it out for you. So it'll do this, and it'll fill out this. And GPT-5 is very helpful, so it'll ask if you want more stuff for it, and it already knows some of my preferences, so it makes a pretty good first try, and that's usually been good enough. So then you just come back here and you Control V to paste that information in here. So once it's in here, you just, this character, create character will light up. Don't go and do any of this stuff. You really don't have to. It means nothing for this purpose. So go to create character, and then it will go and do so. It will create some totally irrelevant character over here. It's just a visual reference, and now you sort of know Boggy Creek's a fireman apparently, so it's easier to find when you go back to the playground. Now the most important thing is language and speech. So if you're a non-English speaking person, you're going to want to select the language of your preference. In my case, I'll just use English. Whatever language you set in here, and you can set multiple languages up to about 4, but in my mind the support isn't that great. If you're, say, Italian, you would just select Italian, and that would be the only language you have. Once you've selected the language, it will cull the list a bit. And if you selected Spanish, it would give you a lot of Spanish voices, which is helpful. In the case of English, almost all of them speak English one way or another. And then you can go through all of these voices. I think for some of the lower tiers on Convai, you cannot get the 11 Labs voices, or, yeah, as you can see here, it's not available on this current plan. You would have to go to the next step up to go to 11 Labs. And even then, there is a limited number of interactions that you can do with the premium voices. So usually, I mean, you'll find lots of interesting ones under here. A lot of them sound sort of the same, so you have to be a little bit careful, but it's, you know, it's your choice. There's quite a few to choose from. Preview it.
If you can't explain it simply, you don't understand it well enough.
So you can just go through and preview it. When you find the one you want, just click on the voice here. It will bring it in here, and then just update real quick. So now that voice will be applied to our Boggy Creek character. You can go to your personality traits next, if you so desire, and you'll find this weird looking, what is it, pentagon? Yeah. And then you can set these sliders. So if this guy is, you know, kind of closed in, and he's kind of a OCD kind of guy, and he's extroverted, and he's not agreeable at all, but he's doesn't have any sensitivity, then you can see what's going on here. Basically click your update, and then that is applied. Now in the core AI settings, I would recommend just leaving it where it is. I think maybe the lower tiers don't have access to some of the LLMs here. It'll default probably to this one, Gemini 2.5 Flash, and I think it's a pretty fast responding one, so that might be a good choice. However, if you want the more spicy voices, or LLMs I should say, you have to turn off the moderation filter. It'll bring up this disclaimer. You have to accept responsibility. I know everybody hates that, but then it'll bring up the uncensored Llama 370B, and that's the one that'll allow you to, you know, allows the LLM to swear and explore areas which the normal LLM will not. So you can set that, and as usual, just hit update. So now the character is pretty much set up. All of this stuff, unless you really get into Convai and how to use it and set up a lot of options that I've never used, but Chris makes good use of some of these narrative design things in the Tyke AI. So he's a good example of someone who knows what he's doing in these more complex areas. What else we got? So yeah, that's pretty much done. this character now, you go back to playground, and he'll show up in here. So, I mean, that's it. You can create, several of them, and then you'll be able to choose them using the next steps. So if there is only one character, like in the VC3, that one character, you will choose it, and then it will apply to your character. And as you leave and come back in the VC3, we'll remember what character it was. So that's pretty intuitive, and you'll have the best experience you can possibly have without having to rebuild the entire app from scratch in Unity. So the one thing you must send me if you want a personalized copy of the app is up here next to your name. You'll find a little key, and in this personal API key, you'll want to make it visible, then you'll want to copy and paste it into a message, a DM message, a private message to me, and I will embed it in a version of the APK for your quest. All right, now the other thing, which is not hard, when you plug your quest in, and you'll have to use a cable, and if you do side loading with SideQuest and stuff, you probably already do that, but you'll have to plug your quest in with a cable to a PC, and then it'll bring up a dialog in the quest, which you must answer in the affirmative, which is something about the USB connection detected. And you just got to click on that just to make sure it connects to your PC. Then you go down to your File Explorer, and if you look, you should see Quest 3 down here. So then you can pull that down, and you can see all the internal storage for your Quest 3. And the one we're interested in for the personalities is the download folder. And as you can see in here, I've got a bunch of MP3 files and all kinds of stuff in this download folder. But the one that's most important, where am I? I'm not on music, I'm on downloads. Yeah, my download folder. What's going on? And okay. Why am I'm not seeing, documents. I'm sorry, not download. I'm an idiot. Okay, sorry. Documents folder. In the documents folder, you must place your brains.txt file. And I'll just show you what that file looks like. It's just a text file, and it has a certain format. So this is what it looks like over here. So you have the name of the character, which is mostly just for reference. It doesn't mean a lot. A comma, and then the character ID. And the character ID is this string that you will find back in your Convai setup. You'll go to your character, and then you have to go to character description, make sure you're there, and you'll see your character ID right here. So it's just a matter of copying and pasting that into the brains.txt file, and as you can see, you can have any number of them. So if you want to create 10, 20 characters, you can certainly do that, and you just have to do it in this format and make sure you paste them into brains.txt. There is a way within the VC to add your own things right in the program. So right in the app you can add these, but it's a pain in the neck to have to cut and paste them. So it's certainly better to just open this in Notepad. If we sit and edit here, what do we get? Yeah, okay, so wherever we are, it's better to just edit them in, copy and paste, copy and paste, copy and paste, and then place it in the brains.txt file in the documents folder in your Quest 3. And then the VC will pick that up and let you scroll through them and choose them to assign to your character of choice. And that's pretty much it. This is very simple, very straightforward. It's very obvious. Don't worry about the avatar, and everything should just work. So I hope that helps. I'm sorry it's so long, but I'll leave it at that. And I hope you have fun with it. I hope you continue to use the virtual companion in one form or another. I'm really sad to have shut it down on the Patreon, but this is your way to continue on with it if you so desire. So thanks for all your support, and take it easy.